Hey, this is Uncivilized. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me break it down for you. First and foremost, and most importantly, it's free. Okay. They also have creation tools that allow you to record and edit the podcast right from your computer, or if you're out and about, you want to edit it, you can do it from your phone. Then Anchor will distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That helps. Trust me, it does. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Tell them Uncivilized sent you.
Today, Rusty Holt in Savannah, Guthrie in New York. The moment the entire country has been waiting for after a very close race. NBC News now projects that Joe Biden has won the Keystone State, Pennsylvania, and its 20 electoral votes.
And that means we can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden has been elected President of the United States. He is President-elect Joseph Robinette Biden at 77 years old. Chuck, we'll turn to you. This map is a real interesting one. Not necessarily the path that anyone thought would have unfolded, but here we are.
Here we are. The end of what will go down in history as one of the worst years ever. As a matter of fact, I can sum up 2020 in 2 words. How many people have we lost? Over 300,000? And he's still, he refuses to concede. But I'm so tired of talking about him. January 20th needs to hurry up and get here so we can finally get rid of Satan. This year for me, it's been bittersweet. It sucked. On some occasions, it was fucked up. There was a few times I wanted to. I want to ball that boy up and chuck it. But something wouldn't let me. I wouldn't have let myself give up. Although I've had more motivation to, especially within these last 2 weeks. one thing I can say about 2020 is that it really, it got me into doing this. It got me into wanting to talk to you all about everything. It got me wanting to talk about issues that people don't really want to talk about, such as, relationships and how people act funny and just how people act in general. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and it was pretty much a breakdown of, how to make things work in the eyes of others. I have my own theories about things. Some people may agree with them, some people may not. Like, take for example, when you're in a marriage, or when you're dealing with somebody, period, and it gets to a point of marriage, you have to factor in this. There are stages that you have to maintain during the course of the relationship to make sure that it works. Take, for example, when you meet somebody, you become friends, whether it's instantly or however the case may be. Now, some people talk about a thing called vibes. Okay, yeah, vibes has something to do with it, because you have to vibe with somebody in order to be their friend, to be their genuine friend. Especially when it's between a male and a female. Okay? Man and woman. So during the course of that friendship, you guys find out, you have a lot in common and you like each other a lot more than you, basically you like each other a lot more than wanting to be friends. So you decide, okay, let's kick it up a notch. It's when you start courting and dating. Yes, some people still believe in courting and dating, not just getting a screen name, calling them, going to get a 4 for 4, and then after that, y'all fucking all night. Grow up, okay? Anyway, you court each other, you go out on dates. This is when you find out what kind of person that this person is. It's when you find out whether or not, or you come to the decision that, hey, I might want to spend the rest of my days with this person. So you become an exclusive relationship. Foundation laid. But in that relationship, what you have to realize and understand and remember is that, guess what? You have to maintain that friendship that got you to the relationship, which means that person should still be the only person that you talk to about everything, as if they were your best friend. Because at that point, if you're together, then at that point, then you develop the kind of the best friend thing, Then, during the course of the relationship, okay, I'm digging this person, I'm feeling this person, okay, I'm starting to make plans with this person, I want to do some things with this person, okay, let's kick it up to an engagement. Because at that point, it's like, okay, you know what, I can really see myself giving this person my last name. Okay. Boys and girls, this is when the fun starts. Because during that engagement, you have to not only maintain the friendship, but the relationship that got you one step from the altar. This is when merit and will and patience and understanding gets tested. This is when you have to do your best communications. All of the above. You got to do all of that. And then if you make it through that hurdle, you walk down the aisle. You stand in front of a preacher, you exchange vows, everyone is happy, you kiss, you become Mr. and Mrs. Now, this is where everything happens. This is when at that point, that friendship and everything else that you got to, can you maintain it? Can you maintain the friendship? Can you maintain the relationship? Can you maintain the courting? Can you maintain the engagement? Can you maintain wedded bliss? Because you got to hold all of those bags as you walk through life with this person. Most people can do it. Most can't. And the ones that say that they can But you see otherwise, whenever they tell you, then it turns into,
well, isn't that special?
because I am on my third. I was not perfect. I did not maintain everything that I'm telling you. And unlike most people, I don't have to read a book from a not so funny comedian, listen to music, listen to other people deal with their problems. No. It's called you look within. You look at yourself. You look at yourself and you point out the flaws within you. Not many people are mature enough to do that. Luckily for me, I have the kind of circle to where they will point out to me where like, bro, you fucked up. You might want to sit down for a minute, quit talking, and listen. I've had these conversations with people. And what cracks me up is a lot of people sit up here and say that they're ready for stuff when the reality of it all is they ain't ready for jack shit. They're ready for a life of driving people crazy. They're ready for a life of playing games. They're ready for a life of bringing somebody down. They're about selfishness. And I can speak from this aspect. I can speak on this subject. I can speak on any of this because the only way that you can speak on things like this is if one or two things you've experienced it or you were this actual person. And ladies and gentlemen, I was that actual person. I used to sit in the mirror and point the finger at point the finger at everybody else. Oh no, you're perfect. Oh no, you're perfect. When the reality of it is I was more fucked up than the shit that I was taking people through. How many of you have looked in the mirror and admitted that to yourself? I guarantee you, not many. Because it takes for you to lose a lot in order for you to see a lot. I have taken people through shit I had no business taking them through. Why? Because I was a selfish little prick who brought people down for my liking and brought people down because they didn't do what I wanted them to do. This is a grown man telling y'all this, okay? I was that asshole. I was that selfish asshole. I was. Am I proud of it? No. Looking back at it, if I could find half of those people who I hurt and tell them I'm sorry, I would, but that's not how life is played. That ain't the hand I got dealt. The hand I got dealt is how many mornings after doing bullshit to people, how many mornings have you turned over to an empty side of the bed? How cold was that pillow? Because I was one of those people to where, hey, I felt like I was the man all the time. I had to be the man. I had to prove a point. I had to be like this and be like that. When the reality of it was, I didn't even know who the fuck it was that was doing it. I was just going with it. But then when you wake up in the morning, because you can be the man all day, or you can be the woman all day. You could have, I think nowadays women call they men hoes. So, you know what? You could have hoes all day. Oh, this dude want to do this. This dude want to do that. And guys, hey, old girl want to do this. Old girl want to do that. Rah, 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 rah. Let me ask you a question. The same people you talking about, are they in the bed with you at night or are you by yourself? How does that feel? You got all these people you swear that's hanging from your line, but at the end of the day, who you going home to? Empty house, TV dinner, whatever. Are you alone? And then when you feel like wanting to be the man and wanting to call and be all like, hey, what's happening? What you up to tonight? What you want to do? I got plans. That's when you hear that poke of a pen and that deflating sound. And that deflating sound is that ego you gave yourself. Don't feel too good, do it. Of course it does. But rather than look in the mirror and go, you know what, maybe I need to straighten myself up. Maybe I need to get better. Maybe I need to, read up on something. Or maybe I need to change something within me. Now, what do? You point the finger at somebody else. Y'all remember, some of you that may listen to me is at my age range. You remember that one chick at the bar that you just, oh man, I gotta get on her. Then you walk over there with that lame ass game, and she tells you, I'm not interested. And rather than just take the rejection, she gotta be a bitch. She gotta be stuck up. You ain't all that anyway. When you was just swinging from her bra strap 3 minutes ago. And I've seen on some occasions, women would try to talk to a dude and a dude would reject them, and then he broke. He ain't shit. Fuck him. I saw a meme recently that spoke the truth, actually. People will protect an abuser. They'll protect an abuser, but they won't protect anything else. Or it went something along those lines. But the one that got me was you'll call out, and it might have been the same meme, so forgive me. Something about you'll call out a dude for being broke, but you won't call out a dude beating your ass. And the sad part is, it's funny, but it's true. I have let go of long-term friendships because they started bragging about how they beat on somebody. I have daughters, and I'll be damned if one of my girls come to me and tell me some dude and put their hands on them, and I do nothing about it. So why would I want to surround myself or hang out with somebody that does that? And the fucked up part about it was, ladies and gentlemen, that this guy had 2 daughters. And I asked him before I shoved a bottle in his face, what would you do if your daughters came home to you and told you, Daddy, this man hit me? His answer is what got a bottle smacked upside his head. I would ask them, what did they do? Excuse me? So you would blame your daughters for a dude who put their hands on them. And the sad part is, you have those kind of people out here that are like that. Me personally, nah. Plus my daughters know how to fight and shoot, so there's that. But let's flash back through the years here. Let's flash back through 2020 real quickly. 300,000 dead. Over 300,000 dead. I've lost some people due to COVID. Everyone has lost someone due to COVID. I discovered podcasting, which is, I think, one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And I think I've gotten to know myself a little better again. Kind of a reboot, reset type thing, you know what I mean? And I feel good about it. Another thing I want to touch up on as far as relationships is wanting to have your cake and eat it too. Don't do that. I wouldn't advise it. And why I wouldn't advise it is because you can't sit here on one breath and say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I expect this, and I expect that. And then when you get it, you turn around and complain about it. Men and women do that. See, a lot of times when I bring up relationship issues, the first thing someone sits up here and says, you are, you women, you woman bashing. No, I'm not woman bashing or male bashing. I'm pointing out what I see. I'm pointing out what I'm pointing out what people's experiences have been said to me. You want a man to come home at night, you want a man to do this, you want a man to do that, and then when he does it, you find a reason to complain about it. And then men, you want a woman to give you wifely privileges, but you're barely giving her boyfriend effort. Come on, bruh. Stop it. If you can't match a woman's effort, leave her alone. If that man has given you one half of a kingdom to rule, give him a throne worth sitting on. Guys, if she gives you the world, give her the clouds to walk with you. So that way, neither one of your feet hits the ground. And the real messed up part is people make the most hardest, let me rephrase that. People make the most simplest decisions the hardest. If a man tells you, just check on me here and there. Or if a woman tells you, just be real with me. Two simple examples, right? Why is it one of the hardest fucking things to do? Why? Because these days it is so easy to get into a situationship, entanglement, whatever the case may be. I come from a time to where you had to earn a phone number. You had to have a car. At one point, depending on what kind of car you had, is what kind of girl you was with. But then, after that kind of played itself out, it got to a point to where as long as you had a car, back then, like I said, you had to earn a phone number. You had to look fairly decent. You had to actually approach somebody with some common fucking sense, and not approach somebody with your pants hanging off your ass, asking for a screen name, and then they sit up and stalk your social media all fucking day. Because by stalking your social media, at that point, they can tell, hey, what kind of person am I dealing with? Oh, this dude got bread. This dude doing this. Oh, girl dressing like this. Oh, girl dressing like that. And where you fuck up at, you get the wrong assumption. You get an assumption because you're seeing visuals that really do not describe the person. You're seeing visuals of that person out and about with their people. And whether or not they dress scantily clad or whatever, guess what? It does not diminish the fact that they are a person and they probably have morals and everything. But guess what? They're probably dressing accordingly. You cannot look at art and think that is life. And then get mad at yourself when you're wrong. That's another thing people do. They sit here and they sit here and they'll look at somebody and be like, you know, oh, she got this, oh, she got that on. What that mean? Or another thing that guys do that I really wonder why. What's the point of taking pictures with money? What is that? Because if you get killed, guess what? Your family is setting up a GoFundMe page or selling fish dinners to bury your ass because the money that you had was not yours. Or the money that you had, you got robbed. Because you were on social media bragging, flossing, being flashy. Doesn't get you anywhere at the end. A lot of families have found that out the hard way. It does not get you anywhere in the end. What it gets you is humiliated, embarrassed, your ass whooped, robbed, if not killed. But nobody's ready for that conversation.
They've been a bad, bad boy, father.
And then, you know, they get on the news and, you know, my son never hurt nobody, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. He didn't hurt nobody, but the money that he was sitting up flashing on social media was because he robbed somebody and his people came back to get his money. But he didn't do nothing to nobody. Okay. And it's also situations that, and I've heard of some women going so far as to wanting to set people up. You know, flash a little smile and, you know, yeah, we can go out, X, Y, and Z. Next thing you know, they end up somewhere out of bounds, out of pocket. Person ain't never been there before. And then you got 4 or 5 motherfuckers jumping out of a car robbing you. And she's sitting up laughing. But then a week later, guess what? She comes up missing and her family's looking for her. Then she's found in a ditch or found in a burned up car. Little thing called karma, y'all. It's real. Like COVID, it's real. But, hey, what do I know? I'm a lowly podcaster from Detroit. That's all I am. And I speak on shit that people don't want to talk about. I'm ready for conversations people ain't prepared for. And I can debate with the best of them. But the thing is this. Come with facts. Don't come with theories. Come with facts. And that's the thing that people lack nowadays. They lack facts. They listen to people who don't have a fucking clue and they take it and run with it. That's the problem. They call that division. In my opinion, they call it being remedial. You know what is remedial, ladies and gentlemen? Retarded. And that you know, that there, what that tells me is that nobody wants to do research. Nobody wants to pay attention. And honestly, I'm at a point to where I'm like, bruh. Whenever someone says something to me, that's the first thing I think about. Is, bruh, really? That's really how you feel right now? That's really how you feel? Well, when something happens to somebody else, we the people nowadays don't think about it along the lines of, what if that's, you know, what if that happened to me? Then if somebody that it did happen to asks for help, you don't want to help them. I don't want to get involved. Then you get pissed off when some shit happened to you and don't nobody want to help you. Cake and eat it too. No point in doing so. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Because by sitting up here doing that, that just lets me know what kind of person you are and that I don't even need to deal with you. Because very good friend of mine taught me one thing. The people in your network define you. And what he meant by that was, if you on your knuckles and somebody in your network cannot throw you a lifeline, why are you with them? Why are you around them? If all that person do is just leech off of you, and whenever you got something, that's when your phone rings. Whenever you have something, that's when your phone rings. If you don't have nothing and your phone does not ring, but the people that's supposed to be ringing your phone does not ring it, why are you around them? Because you're only good when you're of substance to someone else. But if you are not no substance to yourself, why do you exist? If you feel like you don't matter, why do you think someone else is going to care if you matter? Now, every time I start going on my diatribe about this, people get offended. Well, you don't know somebody's situation. You're right, I don't know somebody's situation, but guess what? The one thing you can do, and this is where choice comes into play, boys and girls. The one thing you can do, you can always change your situation. You can change your situation. Nobody else, only you. And if you choose to be someone's punching bag, if you choose to allow people to leech off you, if you choose to let people be bothered with you when you are worth some substance to them, then you choose to remain where you are. So when people sit up here and say, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, that's because, I'm sick and tired of being used. It's because you choose to be used. And then once you have outlived your usefulness towards those same toxic people you keep in your life, you know what happens? Then you become one of them, and then once you become one of them, they have no use for you anymore. Why? Because why do they want a carbon copy of themselves around them when they can just go find someone else to bring them down? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, misery loves company. See what I did there? What person or how many people in your inner circle, in your life, are miserable, and it hasn't occurred to you yet that they are tugging at your shirt to bring you down to their level? How many people haven't picked up on that yet? When is enough? When have you looked in the mirror and said, enough is fucking enough? I'm tired. I'm not dealing with this anymore, and I'm going to do something about it. How many? I've had several. I've had several moments to where I've said, you know what, enough's enough. But then, you know what happens? I was weak-minded and weak-willed enough to fall back down the same rabbit hole that I spent an eternity trying to climb out of. And I'm not perfect in the long spot. Not at all. I have my moments. But not as frequent as before. And that's the funny thing about humans. That's the funny thing about life. Life is all about choices, education, learning, and executing. How many people in your life has tried to execute your spirit, your mind, your heart, your aura? How many people have tried to infiltrate your solace, your inner peace? How many? Too many, right? So in 2021, change your combination. Strengthen your resolve. Strengthen your defense. Don't let those people in. Tell them to go to hell. Whatever you got to do. But at the end of the day, you have to look out for you. You have to love you. You have to care about you. You have to like you. you have to think of you. Because if you don't, nobody else is.